She off all these drugs, coke in her butt, R.I.P. Aaron Carter, is just, what a line. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jerry Bees. I think we are in a streak of artists and albums or bands that I have needed to get to for a while, and I think it is very appropriate that we are ending this month's reactions, May 2025, with an artist I've heard so much about for so long, and that is JPEGMAFIA and their album I Lay My Life Down For You. All I've heard about JPEGMAFIA, other than it being pretty damn good, that's, again, just the general consensus, is that it's pretty damn good. It is worth your listen. It is worth your ears. It is worth your time. It's just very chaotic. I've heard one song through our paid reaction stream, so if you want to check those out, make sure you subscribe here to see when I'm going live and what I'm going to be reacting to. And it's a lot more like, at least that one song that I heard was more straightforward hip-hop, I guess, which is not something that I expected, because the last time I had heard a lot of my friends talking about JPEGMAFIA, they rolled into town and played a venue where I live with Death Grips, and they opened up for Death Grips. And I haven't even listened to Death Grips, so if you want me to listen to a full Death Grips album, let me know. And so I heard a lot of great things about this album. Kind of the whole point of me reacting to music on the internet is to be exposed to music that I wouldn't be exposed to otherwise, to break down my own little barriers. I gatekeep for myself, chat. I gatekeep for myself. And I will settle for this no more. I will settle for this no more. So I didn't even skim the Wikipedia page for this. So if you have any other context or information that I need to know about this album after the fact, as I'm reacting to it for the first time, please do let me know down in the comments, as well as any of your thoughts on my thoughts. If you want to check us out live or get reactions full and unedited before they come out on YouTube, make sure you click just all the links in my description. Check out the Patreon. If it behooves you to become a member, I'd appreciate it. The shit starts at $1, okay? Benefits start at $1. It is a deal at double the price, believe me. He just needs to delete Twitter. Why? Why does he need to delete Twitter? He keeps fighting with his own fans on there. Well, fans deserve to be fought with sometimes. Yeah, sometimes they do. So yeah, like I said, I'm going into this like completely fucking blind. So I know we have some JPEGMAFIA experts here in the chat to maybe give me some context if I need it, if I'm not picking up on anything. But nevertheless, I'm excited. This is I Lay My Life Down For You, JPEGMAFIA, from last year, 2024, 14 songs, 41 minutes, 24 seconds. First song, I scream in the mirror before I interact with anyone. Yeah, same.
Dos míos, sipping more deals. Like I'm starving, I'm finna let my rib show. You win lost to Jake Paul, we face off, we'll make you face God. Who that running they trap? Why you ain't built like that? Y'all been trouble where I ain't built like that. Maybe switch just a minute, they gon' put me in again. I hate when niggas be stressing about what you be doing more than they worry about their own shit. I hate when these bitches be begging your boy for some cash and then turn around and say eat the rich. They get mad when niggas do it for themselves cause their parents is still chipping in. Oh, you mad? Your bitch play follow the leader after you unfollowed your bitch,
Okay, so I know that we're transitioning into the next song here. I think otherwise, if I was listening to this song in my lonesome, I would not be pausing here, but that's kind of the nature of what we do here on the reaction channel. Listen to a track, live in it, analyze it, see what's going on here. And now, like, this is already a little bit different from what I had heard initially with that first JPEGMAFIA song that I said that I had listened to. Definitely a lot more going on here. Definitely some genre blending between, it opens up with just that jazz hi-hat. Maybe even been a ride, actually. And we get, like, this metal breakdown, but, like, in the verses. I don't know, maybe that's even, like, the chorus of the song. I did kind of expect, to be thrown around a little bit here, to be kept on my toes musically. It was kind of a struggle to keep up with what exactly was going on within the lyrics. It seems like he's calling out like type of hypocrisy here, maybe performative politics and performative protests, like yeah, capitalism sucks, but then, everybody still wants to make a buck, so it seems. Need the maximum digits, blame it on capital, and then cuts himself off there, get hit with the facepalm. So that's just how it works within the timing of the composition. But he's going in and making references to GoFundMe because they parents is still chipping in. So maybe even talking about like trust fund babies. All you Nepo babies, get out of my face. Don't even want to see you come over to my house and play split screen Banjo-Kazooie with me, or split screen Mario Kart 64 with me. Just get out of my face. Just get out of my face. When rich kids complain about rent, I don't know when they ever complain about rent because their mommies and daddies have to pay for it. So it's maybe not so much hypocrisy. I think it's a little bit of a mix between performative politics and calling that out. Maybe just people who really don't have ground to stand on because their finances are all kind of settled for. On Spotify, I'm seeing it in the corner here, and he has this like Live Leak hoodie on, and that's just great. We love Live Leak. All right, moving on. Send MIEDO.
You niggas is bitches, I don't wanna kick it. Peggy, I ain't for the fences. You niggas don't swing, you stacking up misses. All of these drugs, coconut butter, Pierre and Carter. I do with a vengeance. Makes the spit heads out, shot with class, give me the tension. I do a lot for the mentions. I spaz in other dimensions. About to tip you to a charge, coconut butter, Pierre and Carter. Thank God I did you that bitch. Get it out, get it off my chest. I'm JIHAD, falling down them steps. You got the swag of a nigga from Chatterbait. You wanna aggravate, stick talk, let the chopper elaborate.
You know what? Again, I'm pausing it at the end of the song. I really shouldn't. But I don't look. I'm lucky enough to be getting away with like streaming copyrighted content live and posting it onto YouTube. But what I really should do is just not break this up at all and pause it, because it's giving. There's a minute left in this, there's a second left in this song, and I can tell that it's just ready to go on to the next song, maybe just one stream of consciousness. Maybe that's the case with the entire album, where every song bleeds into one another. But so far, I gotta say, we haven't listened. I mean, we listened to tons of aggressive stuff, right? Whether it's, some of the stylings from Bring Me the Horizon, A Day to Remember, if you're looking at it from the rock side of things. And actually, if I'm thinking aggressive, I don't know if we've gotten real aggressive out of any of the other genres that we've listened to. However, there's aggressive mixed with high energy fun. And I haven't heard something like this here on the channel since Brat, Charlie XCX last year. That's probably one of my, if not my favorite album that we've reacted to here on the channel. I mean, it's a top 1%. And I'm getting that vibe here. Now, I think Charlie's lyrics are a little bit easier to follow, partially because, A, she's not going at the same speed as JPEG is here, or Peggy. So Peggy's going really fast here, but then, of course, there's this thing in hip-hop and in rap that, as somebody who doesn't listen to a ton of it, there is this disconnect, because a lot of the time we heard it in JID's Forever Story, and even in Tyler, the Creator, here on the channel, where the lyrics are very dense with references to maybe the whole hip hop scene, the industry, and just things that I don't know about. And it's all very self-referential in that way. It's very meta. She off all these drugs, coke in her butt, R.I.P. Aaron Carter, is just, what a line. So this one's kind of just talking about ladies and maybe the problems therein, trying to be the best guy, or just a guy to a woman. She's got her baggage coming in, and you don't know how to deal with that. Or it could just be about big booty ladies. I could be looking way too far into it here. You need to be fearless around your big booty ladies. I'll be right there.
Hey, bitch, I'm back outside. They getting surprised when they hearing these beats like epiphanies. Back and forth with this African booty scratcher. I left all of that talking for bitches beat. I was at the chateau with the blower. You said you would show, but you never did shit to me. If you show for that face-to-face, wouldn't be shit but some shots. The same old lower tier. Niggas text other Amber Rose with these MAGA raps. Yeah, I stand on that shit, ain't no back and back. I don't care what you feel, I ain't factor that. And that's real. Barry Sanders, every run is a real. Colonel Sanders, keep the recipe sealed. These niggas connected like Ronnie for real. That nepotism will help you in the field. I let it hit. Brewing that coffee, I'm taking a sip. Everybody thinking pick me sweet. Thinking it's splendid to I let it drip, drip. Y'all niggas, you got issues with the Clippers.
All right, so that one's obviously going to fade out there. You know, I was going to say in the last song that I couldn't tell whether or not they, like, a lot of the sounds I was hearing, especially the guitars, were either samples or live instruments. And please do let me know as we continue here. But this one, I think the sample's a little bit more apparent that it's a sample, right? The instrumentation is a sample, rather. And I feel like, you know, that's from a lot of the hip hop that we've reacted to here on the channel. I can infer with that that's just a pretty common device that's used. I mean, obviously sampling in general, but, you know, kind of classing it up a little bit, you know, maybe that old school R&B soul type stuff here, which lended itself to this being a little bit more of a straightforward one. And I'm not knocking it for it because, look, it's straightforward. It uses like maybe a slower sample there, but in 2 minutes and 48 seconds, we still get all of these lyrics here. So he's just really leaning into the speed and the pace of everything here. I feel like, you know, this is a shorter album anyway. It's only going to be 41 minutes. But this might be one of those where I feel like what the hell did I just listen to? Like, time flies when you're having fun. Bald head in the sack. Bitch, I go Amber Rose with these MAGA raps. I'm not sure how to interpret that one, so I'll just move on. It's dark and hot as hell. Or hell is hot. It's dark and hell is hot.
I just wanna make it home. Got all my Air Vision Pros. I kill my own
This hoe told me I'm a dog, but all my bitches say on my knees in front of God, but I'm not even fake. Walking that bitch, ayy, take a fucking that bitch, ayy. I'm lit, I'm not gonna switch, keep it in. My hips be keeping them. You're missing me, my niggas, they be in demand. I'm some rap, I don't know what it is. If I show you a drink, I ain't playing with kids. You niggas looping on me, but I never repeat. Bullshit ain't worth leaving. Hit the deck. These niggas hit the deck. Hey, hit the deck. Ain't no shit. These niggas ain't no shit. Ain't no shit. Fuck it. I'ma say fuck it. Fuck this shit. Call it this. I'm too cold to do this. Real like you do real vibes.
Sure, why not? Why not? This is going to be a lot harder to analyze than I thought it was going to be. So by the end of it, you know, I figured it was Spanish, and I don't know any Spanish, but I'm not really picking up on anything here. Maybe that's why, because they say Brazil at the end. So is this in Portuguese for the majority of it? You know, I might just tap out of trying to figure out what any of these songs are about and just maybe focus more on how each track just like kind of feels and how it evolves. Because coming from that last song, you know, like we have that old school soul, R&B, maybe even gospel sample here, and then we're kind of going back into this like, you know, fast-paced, you know, drum and bass, really, kind of primal stuff here. And I think maybe that's kind of the color of the album, so to speak, and probably even the color of, you know, just JPEGMAFIA's like whole aura, I suppose. fast, aggressive, and using sounds in a lot of interesting different ways, between just like how like the bass gets blown out in one part and how we drop everything just for to have the percussion come in. New Black History featuring Vince Staples.
Now my let me that my brothers, my keeper was serving that either before I defeat. My mama sick, she know how to grip it, she know how to keep it, she better get greedy. I hit the lottery.
Let's show and prove, I guess. Time to bust a new move, I guess. Scrolling through the tube with K West. See myself on the news, so blessed. Dudes don't get this good till they death. Rugs from Italy must be kidding me. Northside, Long Beach, Aborigines can't get rid of we mean Black history.
Now my let me that my brothers, my keeper was serving that either before I.
All right, so I love this one. I've been liking all of them so far. But yeah, that little bass riff on the synths was just really infectious there. Can somebody, because I know I got some bilingual chaps here in the chat here. Ganado, Dinero como CM Punk. I'm a wrestling fan. Dinero, that's like money. That's like cash money, right? Dinero como CM Punk. Someone fucking translate that for me. Making money as CM Punk. Okay. The feature here was fucking awesome. And I think it's really cool that, you know, Vince Staples maybe took his time in his delivery a little bit. It definitely had like maybe a little bit more of an instrumental flow to it, where, you know, Peggy fucking Hill comes in with like very percussive, very sharp lines, and I really like that duality, and all of it exists with under this fucking like bass synth line that kind of carried us to the song. Got the flavor Jonathan Major Paper, like man, and I enjoy this, right? So it's not like he's rhyming every line or anything like that, but using the same syllables, close rhymes. I love close rhymes. People need to do close rhymes more. Flavor, paper, it works. I feel like we're just taking a smooth ride through this album and just vibing. I'm having a blast. I'm having such a good time here. Moving on. Don't rely on other men.
I hear you went down. I hear you went down.
She thinking in carpet, she ain't no regular team. Say that.
I hear you went down.
Wanna cry the brother to me back. If you hate me, my nigga, just say that. Say that. Yeah.
I hear you went down.
Wanna cry the brother to me back. If you hate me, my nigga, just say that. Just to be clear, I'm the cornerback. We just throwing that pass if you fumble that. I am the LT, set it up with smack. Back to back on these.
If that cops come around, no sé qué pasa.
Why do I like this so much? Why do I enjoy this as much as I do, but then am left with not being able to say a goddamn thing about why? I mean, just how these compositions in every track move and progress. You know, I think that there is this overarching soundscape of like atmospheric drum and bass, I guess, with like a lot of like maybe like house and club influence in there. Again, but it's the vocal delivery that actually is really keeping me into it. Because, you know, I had heard maybe the standard Death Grip songs, and I'm only using that as like I said, that's the only other comparison that I can make. Not to, you know, be unfair and compare the two, but that's just where my mind's at. And I think maybe to an untrained ear like I had, and maybe even still have, you know, there wasn't something that really attracted me to Death Grips. Whereas, like, I think maybe to a lot of people, I don't think that this is the most accessible thing in the world, but the lyricism comes into play and the vocal delivery comes into play, his bars, his flow, and it makes it a little bit more familiar to me, and it's allowing me to be comfortable and maybe safe in this space that's otherwise very aggressive and chaotic. And that just like that climb towards the end, we're doing that down, 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 down. It's repetitive. It's robotic, but these synths and these guitars in the background, again, invite us in with some more familiar sounds. Lets me know as a listener, like, okay, the song's about to end, or that we're building up to like a crescendo or something, something that I'm familiar with. Being included in something that otherwise is not familiar. And it's really the balancing of all of that is what I'm really appreciating and swimming in right now. Vulgar display of power.
Now, says she need a low dose. I'ma take Klonopin and mix it with the no dose. Zero fear in it, got it tatted on my torso. He's getting for free and talking about it like they forced yo. Fuck about my DMs, nigga, I cannot endorse yo. The only time I fuck with amateurs is if it's porno. Biatch. One, two, Shorty wanna kick it with a mask. Showed her who I am and I should kick it with an activist. Inside Malcolm with the soul of a ratchet. Sash away that mini move and brushed up on my Mandarin. You a Lax fan and I hope you never stand again, cause all my enemies in jeopardy. You better phone a friend. Biatch.
So that was Vulgar Display of Power. And I'm starting to get a little bit of a sense of why I'm liking this so much, for how chaotic it is. The album 10,000 Gex by 100 Gex that was released a couple years ago. I did not like 1000 Gex. I didn't really dig that album. I didn't like that style other than Stupid Horse, just because it sounded like a ska song. But 10,000 Gex, I listened to that whole record and I was like, I finally get this hyper pop thing. I finally get the chaos in it. I really appreciate the humor that they bring into it and how they balance it out with, maybe a little bit more serious topics. It's not the deepest thing in the world. It doesn't have to be, nor do I think Laura Less and the other dude in 10,000 Gex would find it. I think they do want to keep it lively and fun. But all of that just to say, with the punk rock guitar lasting through the majority of this song, I think this was the longest song, 2 minutes and 52 seconds. It reminded me of listening to 10,000 Gex for the first time, that follow-up sophomore album from 100 Gex. And I'm like, okay, again, I don't want to compare the two. I know he already hates being compared to Death Grips. But again, I'm listening to it for the first time. I'm trying to make sense of it. And that's how okay, that's kind of why I like it now. That's how it's coming through to me. I figured out the path to my heart that this stuff has been taking so far. He's talking about lapsed fans, and I hear that he's kind of antagonizing his fan base on Twitter, allegedly. I don't know. Is he just like do his fans just say like, hey, I hated this track, and then he really takes time out of his day to bullshit them, right? I remember him saying he got hate for working with Kanye. This is going to sound bad, but when was he working with Kanye? I mean, if you can somehow manage a relationship with Kanye West, I'd say up until very recently, because now it's just okay, what the fuck is this? Between the last Twitter crash out that Kanye's had, where it's okay, this is it's just straight up Nazi shit at this point. I can see why, people would want to work with Kanye, just because there is that level of genius that he does have and has brought to the table, but I don't know why you'd want to. We're moving on. Exmilitary. Long song, 5 minutes.
But you ain't gotta unfollow me. I got ex-friends, know my number and still turn to me. I'm her ex-man, but she pretends she never heard of me. Ho, watch what you say, lie on my name, that there is perjury. Feels like I'm fucking a hoe and you living up there with uncertainty. For real, I promise before you go, I won't address you personally. But when them boys get to it, they gon' do it to you purposely. Scars hand of a heart, I pledge allegiance, my
Easy now, waking up, easy now, waking up, easy now, waking up, easy now, waking up.
I pledge allegiance to my niggas, my hoes, my bitches, and me. Every morning I get down on my knees. Be down when I slide and they cry when they see your man down. Bitch, I'm not just throwing paint at the wall. I don't do nothing but ball. I can't be racist, I'm chasing the painting and spending white faces on weapons of war. Need my cuz. Some of you niggas grew up in castles, acting like life is a hassle. I take a nigga talking shit down to the back row, pick your lip lock in the bathrooms. I ain't born rich, no pot to piss. I make one flick, that's over 6. The lies don't stick, narratives ain't fitting. Now they gotta pivot, the goalpost shifts. Run it up, running my bitches crazy. Counting up, all this bread and fuck me up, think it's the champ. I treat the bill like it's crazy.
And I'm gonna say something that like is like more akin to like just I guess the general music. It is so much more accessible to make music and to exude your personality into created works with all of these digital tools, right? Whether you get, a Fruity, if you don't pirate it, but like, the amount of people I know that have maybe pirated and or bought like Fruity Loops or like Pro Tools and, and they get all these plugins and or just like making an album and like using like your iPod earbuds with the microphone and just like using that, right? And you can work within that atmosphere and it's just so easy. But I think something gets lost when, people try to like make music where it's like, well, it has to fit the metronome. It has to fit the metronome. Not to say like this is out of time or anything like that, but it's like you hear the digital influence. You hear all of these sounds that wouldn't be able to be made otherwise. But that is to say, like, yes, it's so easy. It's so accessible, but you still need to have that brain and that soul to really convey your emotion into something and have somebody like me or you or anybody in this chat feel something when they hear it. And like so even though it is so easy, it isn't at all. And I think this project and probably a lot of other projects that I'm not listening to that maybe are considered to be JPEG Mafia's contemporaries, where it's operating on this other level where, because we have like this slow, like little reggae beat going through it, but then it's interluded with these really hard, distorted guitars, and also the tones of every guitar I've heard on this record so far have been awesome. As somebody who listens to guitar-based music more often than not, that's helping me out. But I think even if you're not somebody who listens to guitar-based music or even whatever the fuck this is, or even hip-hop, I don't know, man. Like I just gotta tip my cap to the creativity and the tenacity to work on this shit too. I edit videos in DaVinci Resolve. I hate working in a digital landscape like this. Like a digital workstation for creativity. Like Lightroom. I like Photoshop. That shit makes sense to me. And I've done what was it? PreSonus Studio One. I think I used in the past when I was trying to do music stuff. There's just so many different ways you can do it. And I think this is like showing like a true mastery of it. It is a true mastery of it, in my opinion, especially since Mr. Barrington Hendricks, aka JPEG Mafia, is doing this all himself, seemingly. So, sans a feature on this particular track. JIHAD Joe.
Hating and kissing my ass. Damn it, I'm too much of a narcissist. Fuck on my reputation for a bag. I can sniff out you proximity bitches. I can't be responsible. I'm not your dad. Up in the morning, I'm cleaning my babies. I'm switching that bitch. I make sure it don't jam. You niggas know that I'm down with the sickness. Practice the quickness. Fucking up band. Mask at the nigga like I'm taking it. I went to lick shits, he gave me some mic in my hand. Jihad Joe, I kicking that dough, better hit my line if the bombs don't land. Yeah.
I'm so terminally online, goddamn, I gotta check myself. I'm so terminally online, goddamn, I don't respect myself.
You know, I have a friend who went to that JPEGMAFIA show, and they went high on mushrooms, and I just don't know why they did that, because I don't know how well I would have been faring at the show if I went straight. A lot of talk about here. I think there's like the shining line in this song was slim and shady, but I'm not a stan. You know, and there has been this theme, you know, consistently through all these songs. And I think these songs are just kind of like, he's talking about a few things through each of these songs. And I'm not getting that every song is like directed at one thing, but like, I'm going to mention nepotism a couple times. I'm going to mention not really caring about what my fans think. I'm dangerous, step away from me, which is like a common thing in hip hop, especially. And so I think this, you know, I'm slim and shady, but I'm not a stan. It is kind of going towards that thing about, you know, maybe, you know, saying poo-poo on the audience, or maybe even him saying, you know, I keep my, you know, I practice what I preach. You know, don't be a crazy fan because I'm not a crazy fan. And these other like close rhymes too. This isn't like a close rhyme here, but like, you know, Jihad Joe, the way he says it sounds like G.I. Joe. And it's that flip on that concept that I really like. And I think there's a lot going on that I am not necessarily catching. We're moving on. This is JPEGULTRA featuring Denzel Curry.
You think you know?
Out the trenches for you flabbergasted fat fucks. This your boy Denzel Curry in this bitch. Okay, so I gotta be rude. No matter which way you go, you'll still be a square like a Rubik's Cube. See, I'm trying, nigga, I am that dude. Me and JP going APE, so I got monkey boys with the same PE. Everybody said I got ADD, but it never add up. This year, I'ma be a two-pay nigga. Knocking off the top, that's a two-pay nigga. I'm a tsunami, the new wave niggas. Most of your members will be dismembered. When you fall off, bitch, I'm yelling out timber. You couldn't fuck with me if I had Tinder. Last name Curry and a C for charisma. Cause you know we straight out the swamp, straight out the Everglades, out in Florida, bitch ass nigga. You feel me? Dade County get sprayed. Hold up.
Niggas be begging for shit to be different until they get it, then they treat it indifferent. People projecting they bullshit on you cause they dissatisfied with the life that they live in. Niggas net worth be like $17 while they begging for feet to shorties I've been with.
This is my fight. I just woke up as a child of the light. Jumped on the beat, had to tell it goodnight. Y'all thought y'all best believe hitting it right. Timber OGM is high as a kite. Shot for successful, I bought me a pint. Watch how I whip, I ain't stir fried or rice. Hit your head crack just for rolling the dice.
Yeah, man. JPEG motherfucking Mafia. Making grown men emotional since 2008 at least. And I walk around. Look, on my knees for a God who can hear. I can't pray to no God I can fear. I think I should've ran me a cult. Quarterback that hole like I'm painting on cult enemies. They either dead or hating, literally faking. Lame ass niggas get exposed every day, and I don't gotta do nothing more than frustrate him. He's not a threat, bitch, I'm on him a vet. I hit marksman and basic, I never need training.
Hey, they make a career from hating. Hey, they make a career from faking.
I should talk my way right into a bag. You pussy in private, beg him for collabs. You pillow talking to these bitches is sad.
So another awesome feature here. Everything I've ever heard from Denzel Curry, I've liked, and this is right on pace for that. I did the whole soy jack face there at the top of the song because of
You think you know me.
You think you know me. Now, I wasn't going to include this part of the stream, but we did take a small little break to talk about wrestling for a while because of that CM Punk line. If you are not a wrestling fan, then you do not know Edge. Adam Copeland comes out to a song by the band Alter Bridge called Metalingus, and they have a alternative mix of the song that included this line, "You Think You Know Me," from Edge's old theme song. And so this has been Edge's theme song for like, goddamn, 20 years now at this point, and it goes hard as fuck.
You think you know me?
So it is now canon that JPEGMAFIA is a goddamn mark. He's a goddamn mark. If you don't know what a mark means, then you don't know enough about wrestling, and I'm jealous of you. No, yeah, I really love the more straightforward jazz part of here in the first part of the song, which is giving very heavy Florida by Taylor Swift, Florida Kilos by Lana Del Rey. It's all about Florida, right? If I get another goddamn song about Florida, I'm going to scream. That's...
You think you know?
Wait! I just did that on accident. So Jihad Joe opens up with "You Think You Know Me" really quick, and then we go on to
You think you know me?
Yo! Successful accident there as a way of tying the two songs together in an otherwise conscious flow of lyrics, I guess, which is really what I can call this album so far. We do have some consistent themes, and you know, this one, it's just Florida, right? That's actually kind of fucking crazy. You think you know me? Wait, and he says it so fast, it sounds like some like line you hear out of like Ghost Adventures, like, "We just picked up definitive evidence of a spirit talking to us on the spirit box," and all you hear is like this shit, right? Where you cannot discern anything that they're saying, but they're like, "Oh, I think it's saying you think you know me. I think it's saying that." So anyway, we're moving on. Sorry about that, folks.
I've named this one.
Stop. Either on or off the drugs.
Anytime you meet her, she come through. Turn on the lights. I'm looking for her.
People say I'm never present, I ain't messy, I'm just focused on my goals. Cause either on or off the drugs, my energy is Tony Powder in his nose. And either on or off the drugs, my energy is non-magic with the hoe. Hold the buzz, I can out of tone. Cause either on or off the drugs, a voice plays in my ear like I'm a hoe. The first one was good with the beats. The second one put me up in the deep. The third one was sick, no disease. The fourth I had to rush it to complete. P3 when I see you is TTG. Fuck 'em, we don't take EBT. No C notes, 100K tweets. Gotta pray my single be this week. Gotta pray my daughter be this week.
Turn on the lights.
Some of you niggas be talking right out of the side of your neck, and I can't believe that to be gas in these little hoes. Some of you niggas be sitting around all day hanging on niggas they never met. I just feel sad for you, little bro. Baby, you know.
It's just absolutely A1 here. More of a straightforward one, right? You know, it was that low down, smooth soul sound, and one that actually had a pretty consistent message here. So I think through this album, he's kind of talked about, you know, he knows himself, and it's more so like the problems that people have with him just being himself, but also with him being himself, he's either on or off the drugs. So it's like, what kind of side are you getting with him? The only one who can't see me. You know, I can look at this line in a couple different ways where, you know, maybe you're emulating your heroes to a degree and you're taking inspiration from that as a performer, as an artist. The only one who can't see me is me. You can also look at it through the theme of the song with drugs. If he's doing, you know, blow or something, you know, you can do that off of a mirror. And when you're doing that, you know, you're looking at yourself right there in the mirror. The only one who can't see you is you. So, you know, maybe you're pushing all of this shit down with the substances. And everybody else sees you for, you know, whatever state that you're in. And then they can come away with their own perceptions and, you know, beliefs off of you. And then switching Sarah and Tegan around just so it can rhyme with demons and season is nuts. And reason, I guess. But had one of the more direct messages, and that's not something I'll discredit the rest of the album for, because I've been enjoying the rest of the album. This one definitely stands out through the lyricism, through the messaging, and through just the, you know, the sampling. And then that guitar solo at the end was just an absolute face melter, I think. So we move on. We continue. We push on. Loop it and leave it.
Yeah, I know I got scuffles ahead of me. They wanna speak this and say veteran. I'm like Kelly, Beyonce, Michelle. Say my name or I can't really tell. Niggas rap like they casting a spell. Niggas vague, my presence is felt. I'm direct, they go everywhere else. I've been ratchet to Keenan and Kel. Don't know who you are, be someone else. Don't just copy. 4-5 on the hip, ready pronto. 2 cups champagne and a rhino. Weapons registered, ready to unload. We don't usually beat them like Harpo. All my bitches in love with the cocoa. Got my side bitch tipping Jack Harlow. All my bad hoes bringing that work home straight to my game.
Just vibe. Just the vibe. So, yeah, not much to say on that one other than the Jack Harlow reference. You know, when I had longer hair and a mustache, people told me I looked like either like Jack Harlow or like Benson Boone. And you know what? And I take offense to that. We got to put an end to that, right? I've had it up to here with people saying all white boys look the same. We do not look the same. Nor do we play the right version of the national anthem when we're trying to get up on a soapbox, okay? I need you to help me with this. We got to fix something here. We got to fix something. They clocked you, though. Yeah, well, that's not my problem. You know, I guess with this one, beyond like the vibe, because, you know, I hate saying that because it's not very transformative. I'm not really saying a lot. Is like looking more at the lyrics here. I'm like Kelly, Beyonce, Michelle, obviously Destiny's Child. Say my name or I can't really tell. Again, I think this is just kind of, it's just kind of pushing along this concept of identity that we've seen in the album so far. So that's fine. I want to make sure that I don't miss the end of the... Okay. So moving on here, penultimate song, Don't Put Anything on the Bible, featuring Buzzy Lee. I don't know if I know Buzzy Lee, so hello, Buzzy Lee.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
The Al Michaels sample?
You back in my bed.
Oh yeah!
Fuck out the deep end, go get you a flow. Y'all niggas always be doing the most. Black Michael Phelps just acknowledge a stroke. God level Libra, swim with a ghost. I switched the channel and lost the remote. She for the war, she belongs to the globe. Gaslighting is popular, learn how to cope. Acting like hoes, I thought he's bad, she hit the flow.
So another one that's kind of left me with a little bit of whiplash, just considering how high energy so much of this album has been. And they're kind of letting us down gently towards the end of the album here, though I can't help but to think they're going to pick us back up here for the last song. Buzzy Lee coming in, sounding a little bit like Kate Bush here at the start of everything. Apparently Buzzy Lee is Steven Spielberg's daughter. So it's kind of weird that he was talking shit all about these Nepo babies and then includes the work of, albeit Buzzy Lee, independent artist. I don't know anything about her, right? Or she's her own lady. But you're going to have connections in the entertainment industry, whether or not it's movies or music, when your dad is Steven fucking Spielberg. So just wanted to point that out. Let me know if that's a fair criticism. Let me know. Although her voice on this, and I don't know if they're playing the guitar as well, was very good. Was very good. That's awkward with all the Nepo baby talk. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So the whole Nepo baby connection there is kind of leaving me hanging out to dry a little bit. But, maybe he's a conflicting person. Maybe that's kind of something that we've been talking about here as far as who we see him as. So somebody who lives in their own contradictions, perhaps. Maybe I'm looking too far into it. Maybe he just heard that she had a really nice voice and wanted her on the track without knowing that it was Steven Spielberg's daughter. But I digress. But we get into that point of identity maybe with like the whole like Rorschach here. Maybe it's not necessarily what you see is what you get. What you see is completely up to your own eyes. So maybe actually that kind of rips. Maybe that was very intentional. I don't know, but I wouldn't have talked so much shit about Nepo babies unless you just put, because then there's a lot of dirt on Buzzy Lee's face, if I'm going to be completely honest with you there. He's a bit of a hypocrite like every single one of us. Yeah, so I'm thinking maybe that was intentional and maybe she just didn't know because I think that kind of looks bad on her then, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't know. You guys let me know, man. I don't know. If that was intentional to have a Nepo baby on the album that you're talking so much shit about Nepo babies on, and you're talking about, like how people perceive you and who you are, or who you think you are versus how people see you. Damn. Because I've liked this album so much, I do like that if it was intentional, if that was the point. I will interpret it as such and move forward to our last song on the album here. Let's finish this up.
Funny how time flies when you're having fun.
It's not that I don't love my bitch, but I don't love these side hoes neither. She throwing that shit back at me and I'm catching it like I'm a wide receiver. I know these losers you fucking ain't hitting it right, I'm Derek Jeter. Hard on my sleeve and cashing my fist, chasing get enough from me. I think I need a friend. Everyone that I ever dated deserves better, man. I could've wrote this when I'm faded, but alcohol gives you a lens. When I speak in my mind, I'm on demonic time. I got family and fences to mend. Every argument comes with a cost. Every dub ends up in a loss. Gotta keep the facade of a boss. White girl slide on the pole, I'm throwing her faces. I can never. It's not that I don't love my bitch, but I don't love these side hoes neither. She throwing that shit back at me and I'm catching it like I'm a wide receiver. I know these losers you fucking ain't hitting it right. I'm Derek Jeter. Hard on my sleeve.
So ending the album there on a much softer note. Like I said, I was kind of expecting them to bring us back to some more high energy here, but it really seems that the last three songs kind of do let us down quite gently from everything. And I felt it was actually quite gradual. It wasn't like this complete about face either. I don't know why Spotify didn't have the lyrics, so I looked it up on Genius. It could have been any other website. I'm not looking at believe me, I'm not looking at the whatever Genius says that they're about. This is about my interpretations here. If you know what they're about and I miss anything, please do let me know down in the comments. But it seems as though there is this sense of love and longing for maybe a connection that was hinted out through the album, other than just hitting it from the back. Necessarily, a lot of the times that was mentioned, there's something more emotional, something more intimate that seems to be missing there from him, and so it gives a sense of yearning. She's throwing it back at me like I'm catching it like a wide receiver. I know these losers, you fucking ain't hitting it right. I'm Derek Jeter, the captain of the New York Yankees for many years, 3,000 hits, great offensive shortstop, defensive shortstop. He kind of sucked. He had two great plays pretty much his entire career. Also, fuck the Yankees. But really like where this ended up on the album, where it flowed, because even with Don't Put Anything on the Bible, there's that hard switch up between Buzzy Lee's section and then Peggy's section in the loop of that Al Michaels line. At least I'm pretty sure that was Al Michaels, NFL commentator there. And even a little bit in Loop It and Leave, but it felt as though we were trending downwards on a maybe more calmer basis. And I think that's exactly what we got. So what do I think of I Lay My Life Down For You? Ladies and gentlemen, this was fantastic. This was actually really fucking good. Did I miss a lot of the lyrics? Yes. Did I catch everything that was going on instrumentation-wise? No. But it was those little things that I liked a lot. So I noticed it a lot towards the end of the album, where it seems like a lot of like the vocals especially were peaking, and it gives messy. It gives chaotic without it being chaotic, right? There is this drive for amateurs to create things electronically and to use samples with all the tools at our disposal. But it's to use those in a way that still convey feeling and emotion and artistry and a complete masterclass of the board, so to speak, right? So I don't know how much of this was done in like actual, studio space with like a real top of the line production board, and soundboard there. But like it's those little cracks, it's those little peaks in the vocals that I like I said, gave chaos without a ton of chaos being there, and kind of alludes to that in a way where it feels like, oh, I can make this. I can just, switch it up every 10 seconds. I don't think you can. And I think that's what has brought JPEGMAFIA up in the cultural consciousness as one of these acts, one of these artists to really pay attention to, because I was right in the sense that we did get a little bit more maybe traditional rapping, a little bit more traditional hip hop, with the inclusion of, soul samples, maybe jazz samples, as it were. We got a lot of those off of JID. But and even as much as I loved, like Chromacopia and Igor, it's on another level, and I'm just trying to compare it to like maybe the other hip hop things we've reacted to on the channel. And it's a little unfair to do that to even them, because they're their own artist. JPEG's his own artist. But there's something here that elevates it way more, that calls upon more listens. And I want to re-listen to this more. I don't think maybe to an untrained ear, to the general public, it's not very accessible in the sense of how aggressive it is and how many switch ups there are. You might not be ready for it. But within 41 minutes, you get tons of tracks that are shorter that I think help with that quite a bit. And as somebody who doesn't listen to music that sounds like this very often, not only am I appreciating it for what it is, but I am really, really enjoying it and can see myself really digging into JPEGMAFIA a lot more. The wordplay, Jihad, Joe, JPEGULTRA, I'm guessing that's maybe a play on MK Ultra, right? That would make sense because we go right into either on or off the drugs. There's so much here to be enjoyed, other than just hearing, drum and bass, and then 2 seconds later we're getting into like soul, or 2 seconds later he's gonna whip out just like the craziest guitar solo you've ever heard on a hip hop album. Funny how the album is called I Lay My Life Down For You, and the pace kind of slows down at the end, like he's literally laying down the project. I love that interpretation. Was a fun listen, didn't particularly grab me, but some of the tracks are about, maybe for me, again, as somebody who doesn't normally listen to things that are like, maybe this crazy or within this subgenre, so to speak. A lot of the pull for me is novelty, and I think you can look at novelty and go, okay, yeah, no, that's fine. That was a spectacle. I enjoyed that for just the straight down experience, and all that's true. Plus a little bit more. There's this other level of operation and composition between the lyric and composition of an album as well. I think you can look at this just as a collection of songs, and I'm kind of like ready for that a little bit more anymore, where I feel as though I look at look for narrative too much in albums. But even so, I think even if there's no narrative to an album, there's a lot of overarching themes, you know. Think like Dookie by Green Day, for example. It's not a narrative like American Idiot is a narrative, but the themes of like boredom, of, you know, it's a coming to age story in a sense, because they're going over all these emotions and themes and concepts that people would be dealing with as, you know, a young adult, so to speak, where it kind of elevates itself past the collection of songs. And I think that that's what this one did. So that was my reaction to I Laid My Life Down For You by Peggy Hill. Let me know your thoughts on my thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to check us out live, you want to see my Patreon, you want to see a goofy little video, just click everything there is to click in the description below. I think you're going to have fun. That's just me, though. If you like this, go ahead and like it. Subscribe to get more. And with that said, I've been Jerry Bees. You've been awesome. Take it easy. That was terrible.
Diggity dog. Breaking. Diggity dog. Shark.